Alright everyone, so the June patch 16.7 has finally arrived. If we look at the roadmap, for those of you who haven't been watching it blow by blow, this is this patch here that we were expecting, 16.7 with the reserve optimization and a few other things. It's the 23rd of June today, so you know, it's come pretty close to the end of the month, but it's still June, so we can't really complain too much. So let's get started. We've got the basic stuff which we knew about already, implemented changes to optimize the performance in various parts of reserve. We're going to have to just go and see that in game. And we've also got a season change to summer. So there's not going to be that much different, but it's going to be a little bit more vibrant and a bit more green than it was before. Now, this first big point, people have been waiting for a while. And I think the player base is kind of on bated breath about this because we're really going to have to see, and I'm going to have to do a lot of testing to see what this has actually done. Audio. So as part of this update, the audio engine systems and its individual subsystems have been significantly expanded to provide a more immersive Escape from Tarkov experience. The current version has gone through several stages of testing, however it is still not final, so you may encounter unexpected audio behaviour in various situations. This stage is necessary to collect feedback and do more tests on a diverse variety of players' hardware and software, which is good, but we're going to have to really keep an eye out for it. We already prepared a set of fixes for the upcoming update, and your feedback and detailed issue reports will help us refining and stabilizing the system for all players. So in terms of the details of what they're actually going to do, we saw previously Nikita showing it on Tarkov TV. It's almost like a ray tracing kind of model they've got, but readjusted the sound subsystem that checks for obstructions between the listener and the source, so actual objects, improved the sound processing between the listener and the source when the source was behind obstacles, uneven terrain, rocks, vehicles, crates, and other environmental elements, which is interesting because not really had that kind of occlusion before. Fixed several issues where various sounds were processed and muffled incorrectly. Improved the sound penetration processing inside and outside interiors of walls with different thicknesses. Improved the sound penetration processing between floors of buildings and on stairways. I mean, this is really going to be the proof in the pudding because stairways have never worked that well at EFT. And improved the occlusion of interactive windows and doors. Outside of this, they've reduced the loudness of bushes in first and third person, which is probably quite good because they're really, really loud in first person especially. Missing announcer warnings on the lab where you press the buttons to call the raiders and open up doors and stuff, and improve the sound occlusion on various locations to enhance the detail. So again, we're going to have to go in and see and test it. I'm probably going to be doing a full video testing all the things I usually do with all the different headsets because it's going to make a difference as it normally does. So next up, we have some changes with AI. We have the improved interaction of bots with doors. I have noticed that they don't seem to walk through them anymore already, so this is just making that even better. PMC bots will now try to avoid areas where the location bosses initially spawn and are less likely to engage in combat with them, which will help people with progression in PvE. Fix several issues where bots could walk down stairs or other uneven surfaces faster than usual. Fixes for the causes of bots appearing in the air or in the ground. Fix for the specific situation in which bots would tilt their weapons upwards for no reason. I usually thought that was because they were tracking players through walls and stuff, but I don't really know. Fixed the issues in which boss guards and PMC bots were friendly to each other, another PvE problem, and fixed several issues in which the goons would appear on multiple locations at the same time in PvE. So a few little bits for AI there, mostly on PvE actually, but we'll benefit from some of this as well in PvP too, with respect to doors in particular. Now this section is where most of the interesting stuff happens these days with these Tarkov patches, because really BSG are polishing up for 1.0. So this is the quality of life part. This one wasn't announced previously, but I'm very excited that it's coming. Added an item search window with the ability to find items in stash by category or by name. So if you know that you've got that weapon somewhere, or you know that you've got a particular item, you're like, oh, I'm sure I know that I've got a found raid paracord or something, you'll now be able to go and search through and find it without having to use all arcane kinds of tricks to, figure out where it is. So this will help, especially as these stashes get bigger, and especially with this particular wipe, given that we had, 5 or 6 junk boxes each just full of stuff, and it's very difficult to work out what you've even got. This is really going to help. Eyewear and masks with flash protection now reduce the glare effects from light sources. Items with this stat have also been rebalanced, and so this means you should be able to wear pairs of glasses and look at the statistic on it to reduce flashlight glare. This is going to be quite cool because flashlights are still pretty powerful. I haven't seen them being used that much at the moment, but every time you do encounter them, they do really disproportionately adjust the balance of a raid. So maybe we're going to have to dodge between, the way the glasses do glow at a distance versus the protection, but again, it's another topic for research when we can get in and actually see the patch. Added the display of in-game raid time when pressing the O key by default. This is cool because I literally just did a hotkeys video. For all eternity, every player's had to change O and double tap O onto regular press O for in-game time. So hopefully this means that won't be necessary anymore. We then have this one, which was announced previously, but added the ability to automatically convert currency, not having enough when purchasing an item. So you go to Peacekeeper, you try to buy some M80, you don't have enough dollars. You will then be able to buy more dollars on that screen rather than having to back out, go to Peacekeeper, buy the dollars, convert them over, get back to the M80, etc, etc. So this is just nice quality of life stuff that we knew was coming, and I'm very, very happy. This next one is also one that's going to make people super happy, and people have been asking me about this for ages. Is there any way to do this? And up until now there hasn't. So I'm going to go and see what this is like when the patch drops. Added the highlighting of attachments that are available for purchase from the traders on the weapon build screen. So this means you'll be able to put some kind of filter in, which means it'll only show you things that you can buy from the traders. So it won't show stuff from the flea, and it won't show stuff that is in the future that you can't buy. So you'll be able to actually build a gun based on what you could buy just from the traders. It won't accidentally get scalped on the flea because you buy an SE5 by accident. You've only got level 3 traders and someone's selling it for 80k, even though it's only, 20k or something from the trader. So this one has been asked about for a long time, so I'm so glad that this has appeared. Added the ability to pin tasks at the top of the list and on the task tab. So if you're specifically doing Punisher Part 6 or something, you want to track the number of kills, you can now pin that task, so you can go into your inventory, go to the task menu, you can see exactly which one you're on and how far you are through it at the moment, without having to scroll through lists of billions of tasks, because as more and more and more tasks have been added to Tarkov, it is harder to find it in the list. Added a warning when attempting to start a raid with a task item in the inventory. So if you go and get the delivery from the past folder from customs, and then you decide to do a raid on woods in between going to factory, the game will say, hey, you've got the delivery from the past folder in your inventory. Maybe don't take it to woods, because if you die, you're going to lose it, have to go back to customs. So this is just a nice thing for those players who are new and coming to the game for the first time, or they've just kind of forgotten how some of these systems work. Rebalance the sensitivity and zooming ability of optical sights. This one's quite interesting because optical sights are all over the place in terms of sensitivity. So I'm sure some will definitely be made better. Some sometimes are made worse by this. So again, we're going to have to go and see and test it and see exactly which ones have what zoom and how that looks. I'm optimistic, but again, we're going to have to test it to see exactly what this means. Also, we have improved the usability of specific optical and thermal sights as well. So again, something to test in raid. It's probably not the top end ones, it's probably some of the other ones that are a little bit more niche, but let's see. This one is very specific. Added the nape protection for the Redoute series of body armors. This is the Redoute M and the Redoute T5. Those armors currently only have neck protection at the front on the soft armor and not at the back. They have throat but not nape. So they've now added that nape protection as well there. So it's only going to be armors like the Defender that don't have it on the nape but do have it on the throat. So this means that the Redoute M's at least and the Redoute T5 joins like the Gen 4s that have both, and they had both before. The cost of these armors has been adjusted. I can't imagine they need to adjust it very much because one piece of class 3 at the back really isn't that big of a deal, but I don't know. Transition to another location will now count for all tasks with an objective to survive an extract. So this gives you another alternative if you want to survive an extract and get your quest done. Yes, you'll be in another raid, but if you don't care about your kit as much, you care more about surviving the actual quest itself, that means you'll be able to complete a task like this. I hope that if you do die afterwards, that it doesn't then, retcon your task completion, because Tarkov does have a history of doing that with certain specific tasks. So again, we'll see about that. Just be a little cautious, but if this is as we expect it to be, then that will be really, really good. And finally, in quality of life, we have rebalanced the operation of the RSH-G2 rocket launcher. Whether that's good or bad, I don't really know. I know people were killing themselves on the backblast and stuff, so maybe they've adjusted that. I don't really know, but something else to look at when we get into the game. So in terms of fixes, there were a couple of new bugs and a few other things that they've changed. Significant visual issues on customs and reserve, so the maps will just look cleaner. Fix the cause of concussion when a landmine exploded at great distance from the player. This is one I saw a video of that's quite funny. Fixed a bug that caused smoke from the smoke grenade to be visible if the player pulled the grenade but then cancelled the throw. So you could just put infinite smoke grenade plumes down for everybody else with one grenade previously. So they fixed that, which is good. Fix the display of the smoke grenade in the character's hand after the throw. Fix more freezing hand stuff after meds or stimulants whilst unarmed. Fix the reason of the missing search skill point accrual while searching containers. The operational bonuses from hideout management skill have been fixed. Fix the incorrect display of hideout zones in PvE, which were previously built by the player in PvP. Fix the ability to start crafts with missing ingredients at the elite level of crafting skill. It really was elite. Fix the ability to use the items from hideout mannequins in PvE for stashing. So that was, you could put an SV98 on the mannequin in PvE and then go and drop it off on the shoreline beach, for example, without having it on your actual PMC. It would drop it off from the mannequin somehow. Fix the tactical clothing getting reset if selected on Ragman Services tab. Fix the incorrect third-person hand animation if a player switched to an underbarrel grenade launcher and walked into an obstacle. Fix the inability to pick up items as a scav in certain cases. Fix the cause of a weapon becoming slightly larger when inspecting the KAC 10-round magazine, which is quite funny. Fix the bug where repair kits locked in the player's stash would still get used anyway. Missing explosions on PvE from tripwires. Task being auto-restarted. Error 703 quest not found fixed. Durability of items for tasks. Fix the damage for bots shooting through the BTR. Fix the cause of the BTR not aggroing at players who shot at it with the rocket launcher. Incorrect display of prestige icons with long nickname people, a JSON parsing error, and the star called Sun achievement icon, which is when you kill a cultist using the rocket launcher. So that's basically it. This is the June patch. After this, we've got to look forward to the July patch afterwards, which is going to be Shoreline, Ground Zero, more fixes, third-person gunshot sounds rework, which could be quite cool, and an in-game event, and then some more quality of life based on Tarkov.community. So keep an eye out on that website to see kind of what BSG are working on. And then after that, it's anyone's guess. You know, we've got a couple of days left until Nikita's supposed 1.0 announcement at the end of Q2. Hopefully we've only got 7 days left to go. Then we will know when 1.0 is. And as per the roadmap at the bottom, it says an updated iteration of the roadmap will be published in June 2025. So that hopefully will be able to help here. Whether that's going to happen in June or not remains to be seen, but we should know what's coming over the next 6 months fairly soon at least. So with that said, go and enjoy the patch. As always, big shout out to all my patrons, and as usual, have fun in your raids.